Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Thursday morning or afternoon or evening. Did y'all like that new that was like a new intro and a new countdown. Our design team's been working on that. And Reynold too. Right, Reynold? Was that you? Did you fix the intro?
Hear me?
Yeah, he's here.
Yes.
There he is. What's up?
Yes, we're trying to enhance our production value so people love us more.
You like that chat? Let us know. We're trying to make it better for you. Let's see what is up. Tashiko. I love Visual Studio Code. We love you. So thank you for being here. Let's see. What's up, Redstone? What's up, Bashir? How are y'all? Amadou, what's going on? How are y'all this morning? Or it's morning for me. Well, at 10 a.m. It's like late morning. Y'all, I'm in Central Time, and Microsoft is in Seattle mostly, here in the US. And so my day doesn't really start till 10 a.m., which is great. But then it goes a little bit later. That's my life. You don't care. Hey, listen, thank you so much for being here. We have a lot of fun playing for you today. We have a very special guest from GitHub with us to talk about Copilot today. And I don't know if y'all tuned into GitHub Universe, but she was there. She was on stage doing some stuff with Copilot that you've never seen before. And so we're going to get to that because I think you're going to love it. Copilot's one of the most exciting things I've seen for devs in quite some time. It's just one of those things that comes along once in a long while where you're like, wow, that's freaking amazing. So I'm excited to have her here. We're going to bring her on in a moment. What's up, Alexander? In Lithuania. What time is it in Lithuania? I'm going to guess. I'm going to say it's 8 hours. I'm going to say it's 6 p.m. where you are. Let's see if I got that right without looking. Redstone, it's 8:02 a.m. Yeah, West Coast? You sound West Coast. Amadou, it's evening in India. What's evening to you? What is that, like 6 p.m.? To me, that's evening. 9 o'clock is like the middle of the night. 9:23 in India. Yeah, see, I'd be asleep already. All right. So we got a new segment. Y'all, Reynolds been working on all this stuff, trying to get our stream better. And we have a new segment called TikTok Throwback Thursday. Reynolds, did I get that right? I can't even get the segments right. I'm learning. Is that right? That's right. Is that right?
Throwback Thursday.
I reversed it. Okay, so Throwback TikTok Thursday, where we take a look at one of the shorts or TikToks that we've posted in the past couple weeks. I hope y'all enjoy this segment. Let's go ahead and let's roll that.
Just deploying my app to Red Dog, it took forever to get to this point. The original code was written in Thunder. Ugh, I can't find the answer to my problem, and I've been searching Kumo all day. At least Spartan runs really fast on my Sun Valley machine. Last thing, I just need to send this email using Ren. Oh, can't forget to attach my Opus doc. Ah, finally, time to relax with my Anaconda.
Okay, so I don't know what like any of that stuff is. I don't know what Red Dog was or Thunder. Spartan was Edge. That's Edge now. Sun Valley. Ren, I want to say that's Outlook maybe because she was making an email. I'm going to say Opus was Word. I'm just guessing. And Anaconda, I have no clue. Y'all know what that? Anybody know what the rest of those are? Red Dog, Thunder, Sun Valley. No clue. I have no idea what those things are. Yeah. What's up, Bashir? So it's 5 o'clock in Germany. Yep. Yeah, Rube, what's up? What's up, Rogelio? Thank you for being here. So yeah, we're going to talk about Copilot today, and it's exciting because I'm going to move this window over because I feel like I'm not looking at y'all. It's exciting because we just had GitHub Universe, and GitHub announced a bunch of great stuff, and a lot of it was around Copilot. And one of the people that was there on the keynote stage doing the Copilot keynote demo was Rizel Scarlett from GitHub, and she has been kind enough to spend her morning with us. I don't know what time it is where Rizel is, but let's go ahead and ask her and bring her on. So everybody, please welcome Rizel to the live stream. Hey, Rizel. Oh, I think you're muted. It's just another
I'm
name.
not muted now. My bad.
There we go. There we go.
I was saying it's not that early for me. It's like 11,
Ah,
but I
okay.
also start my day late because all my coworkers are in California, so I like wake up at like 10.
Yeah, it's a bonus, but then at like 6 o'clock, sometimes I'm still in meetings.
Yeah,
Well, are we gonna eat or what? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes I have 7 p.m. meetings, and my husband's like, "You love your job." I'm like, I do love it, but like
Not that much. All right. So Rizèl, tell us, what are we gonna do today?
We are going to talk about Copilot. We're going to look at a couple of fun demos. Copilot's like one of my favorite things next to code spaces. But yeah, we're going to see if we could send some text messages, some tweets with Copilot. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into that. And as we do that, I'm going to turn my music on here. I have special like Christmas time, wintertime music today. I gotta turn down a little bit. All right, Rizèl. The floor is yours. I'm gonna stay out of your way here.
Awesome, cool. And if y'all see me look to the left, I'm looking at my screen to see the chat. But let's get started with Copilot. I like audience interaction a little bit, so I need y'all to answer 2 questions for me. The first is, do you actually think that I wrote this tweet with Copilot? The other day I tweeted out, wrote this tweet with Copilot. Do you think that's true or false? Put it in the chat if you think it's true or false. I will wait. I don't know how interactive the comment section is, but I'll wait for a couple seconds. True, false? Okay. Looks like nobody is answering. Oh, wait, somebody said true. Okay, cool. Thanks, y'all. All right, I have one more question then. All right, cool. I'm glad that y'all all believe me. I could totally be lying. And then the second one is, do you think you can use GitHub Copilot to cultivate your engineering career at any level? I'm okay with skepticism. If you think it's false, I'll give you a couple seconds. True or false?
Yeah, the stream is like pretty delayed, so you have to wait a while for chat to actually hear the. Yeah, I wish we could fix that. It's like 15 seconds delayed, but.
That's
James.
I forgot
Debatable.
Debatable. I like that. I like some skepticism. I don't know what Copilot does yet. That's fair. All right. Okay. Cool. I'll jump into it then. Cool. All right. So today we're going to answer some of those questions. We're going to talk about what is GitHub Copilot. We're going to talk about how to use it. We're going to figure out if you can use it to level up your career. I'll talk about how it's personally helped me. And we'll also explore if you can write tweets with Copilot. So we'll see if I was lying or not. Okay, cool. Let's get into who I am really quickly. My name's Rizèl. I'm a developer advocate at GitHub. I was a software engineer before that for about 3 years. I'm an advisor and I was a director at G-Code House, which is a nonprofit that teaches women of color and non-binary people of color to code. And I'm addicted to Twitter, or I was. I'm not really sure the direction of Twitter right nowadays. But if you did want to connect with me in the future, my handle is Black Girl Bites on Twitter, Instagram, dev.to and #. I write a lot of blog posts. And on Twitch, I'm Black Girl Bites 1 because I forgot my password. So I got locked out of my account and I just made a new one. All right. So what is Copilot? For people who are wondering, it's a product that GitHub created, and it's essentially an AI peer programmer that helps you write code faster with less work. And
you can ask me to do the following things. Activate code mode using the toggle code mode command by saying, "Hey, GitHub, toggle code mode." While in this mode, you can dictate code without the "Hey, GitHub."
Let me mute myself.
That's actually one of the keynote things coming through. I won't say what it is though. Who you're actually talking to there. By the way, the music is super loud on my end, Reynolds. Like it's it's blowing out my eardrums. Is that the way for y'all chat? Is the music too loud? I'm gonna turn it down because I can't deal. There we go. It's gonna have to be quiet. Okay, good. not too loud. You don't hear any music? What's there?
Okay.
We back?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That was like very surprising. I opened up all like my Visual Studio Code demos beforehand to make sure we didn't have any problems. But it looks like I'm gonna have to close them because I don't want to spoil the surprise or interrupt myself anytime. All right, cool. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, jumping back into it. All right, so back to how Copilot is an AI peer programmer. Here's the thing. Sometimes it feels like magic, right? Like sometimes it like knows exactly what I want to type. And I'm like, wow, this is so cool. But the reality is it's not magic. It can't read my mind. And it actually doesn't always spit out perfectly well-written, up-to-date code. Basically, sometimes it has a larger sample size from older API versions, so it will be leaning on that a bit more. But it's still pretty great. And here's how it's working under the hood. And I'll tell y'all, wow, that Copilot thing kind of threw me off. Sorry, the noise. But so I'll tell y'all, if you're having a struggle kind of envisioning how it works, it reminds me of Smart Compose in Gmail. So sometimes in Gmail or Google Docs, you'll start typing and you'll see it autocomplete for you. That's a feature called Smart Compose. So here in this example, we have like a screenshot of someone writing to Jacqueline about Taco Tuesday. And they're saying, hey, Jacqueline, haven't seen you in a while. And then Smart Compose tries to finish it off by saying, and I hope you're doing well. The user experience is pretty much the same with GitHub Copilot, except that it works for code. All right, so let's talk about under the hood now. All right, cool. So under the hood, GitHub Copilot is drawing context from your comments and your codes, and it's suggesting individual lines and whole functions instantly. It's being powered by something called OpenAI Codex. And for a long time, I kept repeating this and being like, oh, it's being powered by OpenAI Codex, but I didn't really know what Codex was, so I decided to do a little bit of research. So to start off, I already knew this part, that OpenAI is an AI research lab. They created things like DALL-E, which gives you like AI image and generation and other like cool AI awesomeness. But I still didn't know what Codex was. So I looked it up and I found out it's a model, a machine learning model that OpenAI created that translates natural language into code. And it's actually a future version or an additional version of something called GPT-3, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer 3. And that uses deep learning to produce human-like text. GPT-3 is actually used by like a lot of your favorite apps like Duolingo. It uses it for French grammar correction. The only or the biggest difference between GPT-3 and Codex is that Codex has been fine-tuned for programming. All right, so I love like checking out API playgrounds before I actually get started with things. So I wanted to check out OpenAI Codex's playground, and here's where I'm going to need audience interaction again. So be prepared to type in the comments, and hopefully we don't see any crazy things. So here is OpenAI's like landing page, and they have like a couple of like examples or playgrounds that you can try out to see how OpenAI works. And I wanted to do this because I really wanted to gain better understanding of what was going on with GitHub Copilot under the hood. It seemed like magic to me, and I was like, this is weird. I really want to understand what's going on. So first one we're going to try out is the movie to emoji converter. What this does is it converts movie titles into emojis for us. So I'm gonna open it up and get started. Oh, I'm not logged in. Give me a second. Thought I was earlier.
I'm following along here as well.
Cool.
Do I have an account with OpenAI? I do, because I have DALL-E. All right. Movie to emoji.
We got it. Thank you. All right. So as we can see in a couple of the examples that they have for us before, with Back to the Future, they show us a young man, an old man, a car, and a clock. And then they give us like an idea and they say, try out Star Wars. So I'm going to go ahead and press submit and see what it generates for us. And it generated a star and two swords. I think that's like pretty accurate, like, or a good attempt. I'm going to try out The Devil Wears Prada. But while I try that out, go ahead in the comments and type in some movie titles you want to try out. And Burke, if you want me to try out a movie title as well, let me know. So The Devil Wears Prada.
I have one, but I have no idea what it's going to do. I was going to say The Shawshank Redemption, which is like the #1 highest rated movie on IMDb, by the way, is The Shawshank Redemption. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Let's try it after this one. So,
what's it going to do with that?
I always have fun with these because I'm like, sometimes it's a little off, but sometimes it's good. For The Devil Wears Prada, looks accurate. They gave us like a dress, lipstick, and like a devil. So I hope I spelled Shawshank right.
I think it's Shawshank Redemption. Let me look it up. Let's see here.
Oh, I see the
SHAW.
Gotcha. Spelling's not my thing.
There we go.
The Shawshank Redemption. And I've never watched this movie, so you're gonna have to.
You can add some from the chat here as well. You could add like The Matrix.
Ooh.
Shawshank Redemption. Ooh.
The door and the lock. Did that look right? Like, did it have anything to do with?
Yeah, because it's about a prison. It's a story about a prisoner who escapes over the course of like a long period of time. So, yeah, kind of. Although I don't know if I would have gotten Shawshank. Try I wonder what it would do for The Matrix.
The Matrix. Let's do that one. You gave us like, what is that? Like a hole and a little
and a gun. I don't get it. Try another one. Try Harry Potter. That's a good one.
Harry Potter. Yeah, that one's good. Okay, I think that.
Okay, now that one's better. I think I could get that.
Yeah. Someone said Young Sheldon, and they already created like an emoji that they think would happen. I don't know, since Young Sheldon is a TV show.
I think maybe that's the result they got.
Oh, that's the result they got. Okay, I thought they were like assuming what might happen. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So yeah, with the books and the rocket.
Cool. All right.
This is fun. I just keep doing this.
Let's try another one because I could go on with this forever. There's another example in here that I think is pretty fun, and it is the mood to color. To color. So basically what this does is like you give it a description of like a color. Like here it has like a blue sky at dusk, and then it'll generate a hex code for us. And what I'm gonna do is just search to see if that hex code actually is the right color. Don't open a new tab or a new window. So yeah, for a blue sky at dusk, it gave us like a bluish, and then I tried out a basketball just to see. Basketball. Y'all give me some colors that we could try out, or some items. Nothing like a chair, because like chairs could be like different colors, like things like that. Like try to think of things.
For mood to color, is it mood? So can you do like who was it? Somebody in here. Yeah, Hayden was like grouchy. Can you ask it for the color?
I don't know. Let's see. I haven't tried like an actual mood. I think it's a misnomer. I think it's more like, let's see, like grouchy. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna do it. Oh,
you got something.
Yeah. What is it gonna give us? Red. That's
red. Okay. So like anger.
Yeah. Let's try one more.
Like
let's see.
I would say do like a CSS code.
Cardinal. A sunset. Okay.
Early sunset.
I think maybe a cardinal might work.
A color. Try inputting something like GitHub. Romantic. Oh yeah, do romantic. I like that.
Ooh, romantic. Hopefully it gives us like pink or something. Red. I don't know what it's gonna think romantic is.
I'm saying pink. Oh, it's like a very light peachy color almost, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very light peachy. I didn't expect that. That's not what I think of when I think of romantic.
Try one more, just because this is so interesting. Try nostalgic from Tetra. Recommended nostalgic, which is
nostalgic. I wonder what the mood that's gonna give us. Okay. I'm surprised it's still able to.
What do you think it's gonna be? It's the same color. Romantic and nostalgic, the same feel.
I think it works better with like objects. Like I think cardinal might work.
Yeah. Well, I would expect this to be red.
Yeah.
Right? Cardinals are red?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, male cardinals are red. I think female cardinals are brown.
Oh.
Yeah, red.
Okay. It gave it that. Cool. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna stop these because I could definitely go on forever. But I'll show y'all like if I was to use it with code. So they have like different examples for like objects as you've seen or moods and stuff like that. But you can also say like writing a comment that says write a binary search algorithm. And if I press submit, it not only completes my comment, which I didn't even know it was going to do, it also finishes off the actual function and then puts comments in between it. So this is what Copilot is being powered by. This is like what's happening behind the scenes and how it's working. All right, so let's get back to the slides. Hope that was fun for y'all.
That was a lot of fun.
Hey, it's fun for me too. All right, so now that we understand, let's talk about like the various features within Copilot. So the most obvious one that we've been seeing is the predictive code, where if you write a comment or you start writing a function and you give it some context, it'll be able to finish that function up for you. The other feature, which I did not know existed, is that you can view more suggestions within Copilot. Well, I didn't know for a while. And I was like talking to a product manager and I was like, you know what would be really nice, because sometimes Copilot doesn't give me like the greatest suggestions on the initial suggestion. I was like, if we could see more suggestions. And he was like, you know, if you just hover over that initial suggestion, it'll show you like this tab that I have in the screenshot of like the next suggestion. It would give you previous suggestions, or if you click open GitHub Copilot, it'll show you all the possible suggestions that it would give you. So just a little tidbit for you all if you've experienced that while using GitHub Copilot. We also have an experimental extension created by the GitHub Next team called Copilot Labs. This extension is separate, but it comes complementary with GitHub Copilot access. So first feature it has within there is language translation. So essentially you can translate a snippet of code from one programming language to another. So here I've taken that binary search algorithm and I translated it from JavaScript into Python. We also have this experimental extension or it's the same one, but it also gives you an explanation feature. So you can take a snippet again. I have this binary search algorithm snippet, and you can click explain code, and it will tell you step by step what's happening. In this next slide, I zoom in on it a bit more. But like for the first step, it says declare two variables, low and high, which will be used to represent the start and end of the search. Initialize low to 0 and high to the length of array -1, and so on and so forth. So it'll give you a little bit of context about what's happening within a code snippet if you see something that just doesn't make sense to you. So where is this available? If you're like, yo, I want to download this. This is kind of cool. Or I want access to this. It's available in Visual Studio Code, JetBrains, NeoVim, IntelliJ, and yeah. All right, so there's also, I want to let everybody know there's a fail-safe or filter. There's a very, very, very low percentage, I believe like 1% chance that GitHub Copilot will suggest, will have suggestions that match public code. But if you want to block those suggestions 100%, you're like, I don't want no chance that this will match public code. In your settings, you can set it up to block it.
Hey, Rizèl, what does that mean, public code? What is it?
Cool. Good question. So code that is not it's in a public repository, but it might not necessarily have like the correct licensing on it, if that makes sense. So like it's just open to the public, but that person may not have necessarily wanted you to use their code.
I gotcha. So like somebody just forgot to add a license file to their repo or just didn't add one.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. That was that actually has been asked here. What copyright concerns apply to Copilot? I guess that would kind of answer that question.
Yeah, I think so. For any legal questions, I may not always have the answer.
Be the right person to answer that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We're just developers here, folks.
But yeah. So now maybe you're like, these are really cool features, but how is this helpful for me, especially since I titled this Level Up with Copilot? We'll see how we can actually level up. So my goals as a software engineer have always been to like code faster and cleaner. I just wanted people to like look at my code and be like, wow, this person's so smart. And I'm like, yay. I wanted to also be like a really good mentor and mentee. I want to be able to write good documentation, and I want to be able to gain understanding for new concepts quickly. I'm curious, in the comments, go ahead and type some of your goals as a software engineer, but I'll continue to move on as well. And I believe that Copilot continues to help me to do all these things, to code faster and cleaner, to be a better mentor, to write the documentation, and to gain context for new concepts quickly. And I will show you how. All right, so in terms of coding faster and cleaner, Copilot is really, really good at recognizing patterns. So if you're like writing an API and you like start off with like the GET request, it'll know what to type in for your POST request or your PUT request. Or if you're writing unit tests as well, it's really good for that. It's also good for syntax, things like regex, where you like have to go search on the web, like Google and stuff like that, or play around in a regex playground. That sometimes takes up a lot of time, and it removes that time for that stuff. If you just write a comment, it'll generate the regex for you. And also, here's my tip to y'all: write clear, understandable comments. A lot of times I have seen people complain and they're like, oh, Copilot's not working for me right. And it's like people just open up their editor and expect it to start writing for them. You have to give it clear, understandable comments, because it's not going to work without you, the programmer. Again, it's not magic. It needs your brain to help give it some context so it can be able to assist you. All right, so from my personal experience, I'll talk a little bit about like my first time using GitHub Copilot. I feel like I write messy code. It's not like I'm talking down about myself. It's just sometimes I write messy code and then I'll go back and refactor it. Ever since I learned to code in 2018, I have. So, and I don't think Burke knows this, but when I first started at GitHub, my manager was like, oh, the VS Code team wants us to make like a VS Code extension. And I was like, oh no, Microsoft is going to see me write code. I'm scared about that. I'm nervous. But at the same time, I tried out GitHub Copilot, and while I was building out the VS Code extension, and I was like, well, I got a nice email from Burke saying like my code was gorgeous, really easy to read and well commented. And while I guess I'll take a little bit of credit for that, I do think GitHub Copilot really helped me to write clean, like understandable code, especially since I was writing so many comments for it to work. And it kind of helped me like get over like my fear a little bit of like other people reading my code that I didn't know. And also writing a VS Code extension, which I've never done before.
It was good code. I remember that code.
Thank you. So also here's a trick. If you're using GitHub Copilot, I like to, everyone can have their own strategies, but I like to turn it off when I'm laying down the initial structure of my project. And once I have a pattern going, I'll turn it back on because that's when it'll work. I don't really want it to get in the way when I'm like trying to figure out like, oh, okay, I'm writing like this Express server or something like that. I don't want it in the way then, but when I start having a pattern, I'll turn it back on. So here's some examples of patterns. I wrote a blog post the other day and MilMikeDev shared this GIF with me. Essentially what MilMikeDev is doing is they are translating the words answer, question, and date into different languages. All they do is provide it with the language code, and then Copilot translates it for them. So they have like French, Japanese, Spanish, and I thought this was like a really, really cool example. Also, It's really good at regex, right? So here in this example, all I do is write a comment that says validate a phone number, and it essentially generates all of the regex for me. I was like, I'm not sure if I trust this. So I went ahead and I ran it in my console and it printed out as true. So looks like it worked to me. Also, one thing I've thought about really hard is how like Copilot can actually be really helpful if you speak English as a second language. Already for me, and I speak English as a first language, sometimes like spelling is not like my strong suit, or sometimes just remembering the syntax for certain things is not my strong suit either. I'm like, for dot map, do we put the parentheses here, the fat arrow here? I really don't remember. And I think like because code is so American English centric, I just imagine it's way more difficult for people who don't speak English as like their native language. And the other day I was playing around with Copilot, showing my friend, and he was like, "Ooh, do you think Copilot can understand like Spanish at all?" So I was like, "I don't know." So we wrote this comment in Spanish that essentially says like import the necessary like libraries for this program to function, and then on the next line, we have import Tweepy. And I thought that was really cool.
That's so, Rizèl, that's very interesting because we've been doing a lot of research on our side in terms of like, how do we reach developers that don't speak English? And that's one of the things that came up is that it's difficult. I mean, even imagine coming from like a right to left language and now you got to code left to right, like the whole thing flips. So chat, I'm just curious if that's tough for you, right? If you're a non-English speaker, it's not your first language.
Yeah, tell me, because I'm actually really curious about that. I even thought of like, let's say, even if you do speak English, right? Like Canadian English or British English, maybe CSS gets in your way with like the word color, because you might spell it with a U. And then like, you know, Copilot can come in and be like, no, remember, it's just with an O. I don't know. Also, I think it's helpful if you want to speed up the process of adding code snippets to your documentation. So the Copilot team has told me, you know, it's not best written for, or not best used if for just like written prose. But I have seen a lot of people use it for documentation. And I think it's the code snippets that are really helping them out. So we have Hayden Barnes, my friend, who is writing some install requirements for whatever project that he's working on. And he literally just writes on SUSE. And then Copilot actually finishes up the command for them by saying sudo zipper install, da, 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 da. Thought that was really cool. Also, a developer advocate from Microsoft also wrote this tweet saying like, you know what? We actually wrote half of the static web app CLI documentation using Copilot. And I thought that was pretty impressive. So I think it can help you speed up the process because, you know, for me, I may not always love writing documentation because it can be tedious, and Copilot can make it a little bit fun, especially if you're just trying to add some quick code snippets in there. All right, so in terms of being a better mentor and mentee, it's also helped with like my confidence as a mentee. Pair programming, I don't know about y'all. I learn a lot from it, but I tend to get really, really anxious when someone's like leaning over my shoulder. I already talked to y'all about like my struggles remembering syntax. So sometimes like I'll be typing and then someone's watching me and I'm like, oh my God, how do you spell function? All of a sudden I forgot. And it makes me hyper focus on syntax and spelling. And like I lose my focus on the actual logic while I'm pair programming. And I think when I've had Copilot on, it's helped me to focus more on the logic. And I'm like, I don't need to worry about the syntax anymore. We get more done. We're more productive. And I learn even more. Also, on the flip side, for me as a mentor, I teach a lot of people how to code with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I've done like multiple cohorts at this program called G Code, and like afterwards they'll go get a job and then they'll come back and they'll be like, hey, Rizèl, I need help with C#. I don't know any C#. So I've always been like struggling a little bit to help them. But Copilot Labs has been great with helping me because I've been able to like highlight the code snippets, get an explanation of what's going on, or translate it into JavaScript. And I'm like, cool, I know how to help you resolve this and answer this. In terms of gaining context for new concepts, Okay, this is a wild suggestion, or not a wild, but maybe unconventional suggestion, but I actually think it's good if you're studying for interviews, right? So hear me out. What you can do, or what I've been able to do, is sometimes when I'm like doing leak codes, especially if it's a leak code hard, that's like an easy way for me to, once it starts getting actually difficult for me, that's an easy way for me to start getting tired, abandon it. Now all of a sudden I'm watching Netflix instead of actually practicing. But Copilot's helped with my momentum. Sometimes when I get stuck, I'll use Copilot to actually like answer the problem, and then after that I'll delete it, deactivate Copilot, and I'll try to challenge myself to answer it. Now that I understand like where they're going with it, I'm not challenging myself to repeat exactly what Copilot did, but now I have like more context, and I'm like, cool, got this. And I actually read that chess players use AI tools to help them to level up, like competitive chess players. So I'm like, why can't software engineers do it too? Also, in navigating a new code base, again, with that extension I showed y'all that allows you to get context or an explanation for little code snippets. If you're new to a project or a company and you see a code snippet that you're like, what is this? I have no clue. You can use that, highlight it, and be like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. It's also been really helpful for me with demos as an advocate, because as a developer advocate, sometimes I have to do demos in like languages I'm not familiar with, or tools I'm not familiar with. And I'll give you all an example. A while back, I joined a Twitch stream with the Twitter DevRel team, and they asked me to like show off Twitter's API, and they wanted me to use Python, and they were like, we want you to do it tomorrow. And I was like, I don't know Python. I don't think I've used Twitter's API that much. Sounds a little scary, but I ended up like creating a demo for myself, and I was able to complete it in 30 minutes because of Copilot. I had Copilot on, and I was like, so this is so cool. And I ended up tweeting. I was like, I don't know how to write code on Python, and then Copilot comes in. And I don't know if y'all know about this meme. It's like a couple months old, so you might be like, this is old. But where Usher goes, like, watch this. So yeah, I tweeted that out.
I don't know about that. All right, so real quick, Rizèl, can we check in? Let's just check in with chat real quick, because there's been a lot going on here. Is this a good spot to do that?
Yes, it is, because I was going to go into the demo, so this is a perfect.
All right, perfect. James decided to wake up at 4 a.m. to watch this.
Yeah. Yes.
We're glad you're here, but
all right.
Listen, there's some legal questions in here, y'all. We're not going to try to answer those because we're not attorneys. I'm not ignoring you. We just don't know what we're talking about. So that would not be good. Let's see. We talked about that. I don't know what Copilot does yet. Hopefully you do now. Let's see. What else? Doop, doop, doop. We did the movies. That was fun. Wow, I need this in my life. I mean, Copilot is great. I mean, it's constantly helping me out in ways that I just did not anticipate. Especially as a presenter, it helps out a lot. Like when you're doing demos, because I use snippets a lot, because I just can't remember. And when you're doing it live, you just lock up and you forget.
Yeah.
And Copilot helps you with that. Copilot will just deminify code. Can Copilot deminify code?
I haven't tried that.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
That's a good question. I'm gonna try it. I don't know.
So I guess so. I did the same thing for minified code. I gave it some examples of minified code, manually deobfuscated the code, and provided an explanation of the code.
Cool.
Huh.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Try that out. We'll have to have Entropy on the live stream and show us how to do that.
Right.
All right. Copilot is free with the GitHub student program. Is that a true statement?
Yes, that's true. Thank you for bringing that up. I actually forgot to include that here. It is free for students. It's free for teachers. You just have to sign up with like the GitHub student program to verify that you're actually.
Do we have a URL for that? For the GitHub student program.
Let me just double check.
Oh, it's just education.github.com.
Yes. Yes, y'all. Thank you. Sign up for education.github.com to verify that you're a teacher or student. It's also free if you are a maintainer of a popular open source project.
There we go. Thank you, Peggy. Producer. All right, let's see. What does that mean? You just have like what? You have to have an EDU email address?
Yes, you have to have an EDU email address. Like, so I think I'm not a student, so I don't know the whole process, but I believe what they do is like you have an account that has an EDU email, and then through education.github.com, they have a section where you verify that you're actually a student. It takes like a couple of hours, I think, and then it'll come back saying, "Yep, you're verified, you got it," and you get GitHub Copilot for free.
All right, so Bashir's asking the question then for everybody else. Like, so we have two options. You can go to your local university and enroll and get a free Copilot, but you don't want to do that.
Yeah, if you're not a maintainer and if you're not a student or teacher, it is $10 a month, I believe.
$10 a month. Okay, and Dario's selling it. I started paying for Copilot after several months. My time is more valuable than $10 US. It's one of those things where you got to try it and decide, is it worth it to me? It's kind of like any streaming service that I have. I try it and I'm like, is this worth $10 a month to me? Yes, I'm in. No, yeah. I'm out.
Yeah, and talking about that, it does have a free trial, so y'all could do the free trial before you decide on if it's worth it for you.
Yeah, it's
worth it for me.
Awesome. All right. Let's keep going, Rizèl. Thank you.
All right, let's get into these demos, and hopefully, I'm gonna have to reopen these again. Sorry.
No problem.
I just closed it all up when the thing started happening, and had these all in different spots. Let's send a tweet with Copilot first, and let's see how this goes. If I can just close the panel so I can get some more space. I'm going to delete this. Now, hopefully I remember all the stuff. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install the library that we need with pip3. Cool. And then I'm going to write a comment. This is just for like demo's sake. I'm not going to write a comment every time I import something, but just to show y'all that I want to import the Tweepy library. See what happens. Import Tweepy. Next, okay, it's suggesting the time library. That's not exactly what I want. Thanks, though, Copilot. I want to import my config file because that has all my like secrets in it, my API keys. Cool. It did that for me. Now I want to connect to like the Tweepy client. So I'm going to say connect to Tweepy client. Let's see what it gives us. That's not exactly what I want. This is like the older API version. So I'm going to open GitHub Copilot and see if it gives me any more suggestions. I'm going to close this. Not a lot of space for y'all to see. And I'll make it like just a little smaller. This is the solution I want. This just goes to show y'all, like, if it gives you like an initial suggestion that you didn't want, you can go right here, and this is the solution I want to accept. And I actually think I want these to be in capital letters. Consumer secret, key, and then access.
So it's figuring out already that you want caps. It's
yeah, like, it is.
Caps.
There
is a way to do that in Visual Studio Code, but I forget what the keyboard shortcut is.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. I forget.
I need your VS Code tips.
I don't even know. I'd have to ask GitHub. Maybe GitHub knows. Hey, GitHub, what's the? I mean, Copilot. What's the keyboard shortcut for?
Right.
Anyway, sorry, keep going.
With client. See what it gives us. I actually think I'm just gonna double check. I forgot already. Client.create tweet. Client.create tweet. So next line, I'm essentially just saying I want to like write out a tweet that actually like I want to write out a method that sends this tweet for me. I don't want to. It's so used to me saying I wrote this tweet with Copilot, so it tried to finish it up for me. But I don't necessarily want to do it on this line just yet. So let's do tweet, and I'm going to make a variable. create a variable called tweet that says I wrote this. Let's see what it tried to tell me. I wrote this tweet with Copilot, and what is it? I'm at. What is it going to say? I don't know. Okay. One time it knew where I was. Okay. So
live share event. I'm at the VS Code close.
VS Code
there's
live.
no such thing.
It's just a VS Code live stream, right?
Yeah, live stream. That's
okay,
right.
Cool. It tried. Cool. Tweet. Let's finish it out. Copilot. Cool. So as we saw so far, just to recap, I imported a couple of libraries. I was able to connect to the Tweepy client, which is needed. And I used like all the config variables from this config file. I wrote a tweet, or I wrote a variable of like the tweet I want to send out. I have this method that was created to actually send the tweet. And then after that, I just want to print. It already wrote it before I could say it. Print a message that says tweet sent. And let's see if it worked. Let's see. So just keep in mind, y'all, I don't know Python. I am a Jamstack JavaScript person. So if there's any errors, we'll go ahead and fix them. But Copilot helped me out so far.
So you've got a key. You've got your keys in the config somewhere. Are you importing? Yes. Oh, you imported the config.
Yes, I imported the config file.
So that file must already exist.
Yes.
In your project. Okay.
Yes, it does. I did it before we hopped on. But I have an error. And for the sake of time, I'm going to copy this over because it's essentially the same thing. And I'm not sure what the error is for the Tweepy.
Yeah, it says.
Did I have
import Tweepy? Import the Tweepy library.
Weird.
That is weird because it's a valid comment.
Yeah.
Chat probably knows. Chat, what just happened there?
What happened, my Python people? What y'all got? Just typed.
Oh, Python 3. Dang it.
That's true. I've typed
Node. You typed Node.
Oh, that's why I was wondering. Okay, I'll go back to where it was.
I'm to undo everything.
Y'all know I'm a JavaScript person.
I know. Sorry, y'all. Listen, I am too. And once you get it in your head, you cannot get it out. It's stuck in there. Yeah. You're npm installing.
Thank you so much. Because I was like, that's weird. Okay.
There we go. So did it actually send it?
Let's see. Let's go on my Twitter profile and see. Yep. There it is. 5 seconds ago, I wrote this tweet with Copilot, and I'm on the VS Code live stream.
I'm going to retweet you from the official VS Code account here.
Okay, cool.
Boom. All right.
Awesome.
Viral.
Seen it. I am nervous to do the other demo I was going to do just because of how it was acting, but I'll try. It is the voice demo. Let's close all this out. Let's see what happens. If it doesn't work out, I'll do the P5JS demo and then we will wrap it up. Let me exit this. So there's another extension that we came out with, y'all. It's still in this, it's alpha release. So it might be a little bit buggy, but it's pretty cool. Basically what it does is it allows you to do like voice to text with Copilot. So you can give it like voice commands and it'll type it out for you. So what I'm going to do is install it first of all. So I'm going to look for an extension called Hey GitHub. Because it's a little bigger, I'm thrown off. Let's see. Hey GitHub. So if in the beginning when y'all heard something talking to me, that was it. And I uninstalled it and closed everything out. All right. So we got to be careful with everything that I say because it's very sensitive. Let me pull up my instructions as well. Cool. And I'll put it in here. All right, I'm going to start. Hey, GitHub, toggle code mode.
I activated code mode.
Cool. Import a graph plotting library. A function to analyze the sentiment of text with a free web service. It's not exactly what it wants. Let's try it. Hold on. It's typing out everything I'm saying. Let me try one more time with that. A function to analyze the sentiment of text with a free web service. Change it to return a Boolean. A function to plot an array of Booleans as a pie chart. Not it listening to me whisper. Hold on. The next thing I want to do is an array of example text. An array of example text. A function to put it all together. I kind of messed it up. Hold on. Let me just close this array for it and do that. I'll try the other one one more time. A function to put it all together. One more time, sorry. A function to put it all together. Oh, come on. A function to put it all together. Call main. Call main. All right. For time's sake, I'm going to just do this part real quick for it. Main. Let's see if it can run the program for us. We'll call this text. Sorry for this, y'all. Thanks for your patience.
That's all right. This is quite new, as I understand it.
Yeah, it's still in its alpha. All right. Now I'm going to tell it to run the program, and hopefully we get our results. All right. Run program. Oh. All right, I'll run it for it. But if y'all want to see
security.
What happened? You said job security?
Yes, job security. You can't run the programs. You still need us.
Exactly. That's what I say. Like, a lot of people got like really nervous that like, you know, Copilot's going to steal their jobs when it first came out. But at the end of the day, it still does need the programmer. That's why it's called like a co-pilot. Like it's not a pilot. It's not doing the whole thing for us. It's just helping us out at, on the side. If you do want to see like a perfectly working example, you should go watch the keynote for GitHub Universe. But this time it was a little iffy, but there you can see like this is like the realistic way of like how things work sometimes.
Very nice. Yeah, you know, I think for Copilot, it's kind of like, you know, autocomplete is not going to make you a better writer.
Exactly.
You have to know how to write. It's gonna, if you know how to write, then it's gonna help you, but it's not gonna do it for you. And so Copilot's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. That is essentially the end of this talk, I guess. Like I think I usually end. I'll do like they'll do like the very last bit. And I usually end by saying like, oh, I thought that writing a tweet with Copilot is cool, but of course I'm not going to be opening up my VS Code editor just to write tweets. Like I'll just use the app, obviously. But I thought of like how I could take it a step further. So what I did is I created like a GitHub action with the code that Copilot generated, and that every time like a maintainer like opens up a good first issue or labels it a good first issue, it'll tweet it out to help like get new contributors' eyes on it, because a lot of times new contributors struggle to like find good first issues. So here's what like the context of the action looked like. So basically here's like the name of the action, and the event that it gets triggered on is every time an issue is labeled, and it looks for this conditional statement. If the issue is labeled good first issue, then it'll grab the URL of the issue, and then it'll set up like Python and everything, and then it'll go ahead and actually run the file with all of the secrets in it, and the results of it are like this screenshot of this tweet saying like this is a good first issue, and then the actual issue linked to it, and you can just click it and find the results. But that is all. If people have questions, and if Burke has commentary, I'm happy to answer. And thank you for bearing with me, y'all.
Awesome. Well, I know we're close to time here, but we had a lot of fun with those demos. That was great. So if people, you know, I guess you already said you're on Twitter. I was going to say if people have questions about Copilot, or like where does the Copilot community go, right? Like where are the Copilot people hanging out? Is there a place? Is it?
Oh, we do have, is there a place for hanging out? That's a good question. I guess there is, like, you can check out the community discover section. That's where like all the people hang out. I will send you the link. I'll put it in the chat with the studio, and then y'all can put that up. But awesome. This is where people are chatting, y'all. And I don't know where like all the Copilot people hang out, but you can come hang out with me at Black Girl Fights.
So you can find Rizèl on Twitter. And y'all, if you haven't got your, because there's a free trial, go get that free trial. And then the other thing, I do this a lot when I create shorts, is like just poke it and see what you can make it do. I'll give you a hint. You can actually ask it questions and it will respond if you get them in the right format. Now, again, I don't think that's what it was designed for, but it does work, and it does some funny things. Like it can tell you if you forgot a git command, you can ask it what the right git command is to, like, say, remove files that you've added to the git ignore, but they're still in the repo, and it will tell you what that command is, right? It's really good at answering questions like that. So yeah, check that out. All right. Well, chat, thank you so much for being with us. Rizèl, thank you for being with us. Let's see here. I think we usually do a lightning round at the very end, just because there are some pressing questions out in the world that need to be answered, and you are the person to answer them. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Let's do it.
Wow, we have a segment for that too. All right, here we go. We're gonna settle a lot of very contentious issues here.
Okay, I'm ready.
Serious questions. GIF or GIF?
GIF. I know everyone will hate me.
Whoa! Whoa!
It just sounds better saying GIF. I understand that the creator said it's GIF, but I'm going with my own version.
I do believe that is the first GIF that we've had in a lightning round.
Really?
Far, yes. Everyone else has opted for the hard G. Okay. Jason or Jason?
I say Jason.
Jason. All right. Semicolons in your JavaScript or no semicolons in your JavaScript?
Ooh. Now that I write Copilot, I have semicolons in my JavaScript, and I know if there's like an iffy statement, but
before?
That,
no semicolons. No semicolons. Wow, this is going to be a very controversial segment. Last one, tabs or spaces?
I use tabs. Is that controversial?
Tabs. Whoa. Also, I think the first tabs we've gotten on the stream.
Oh man.
You are setting a new example. This is awesome.
Trendsetter.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us, chat. Thank you for being here. We are not streaming next week because next Thursday is Thanksgiving in the US here. I don't know, I assume everybody else just continues business as usual because they are not the United States. I think Canada has something similar, but anyway, we're not streaming next week. We will see you after that. So in 2 weeks on Thursday, as usual, right here for the VS Code live stream. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.